Hey everybody, what's happening? It's Bill with Franklin Loan Center, and today wanted to talk about two questions that I get asked every day. And it's literally every single client wants to know this. And the first one is, in no particular order, I should say, what's going to happen with interest rates? And number two, is now a good time to buy a house? And the crazy thing is those are the two most common questions, and I don't have a very good answer for either one of them, right? So first off, with as far as what's going to happen with rates, so we all know what impacts rates, right? It's what moves in, generally speaking, with almost every loan program is what's going on in the mortgage-backed securities markets, what's happening with Fannie and Freddie, generally speaking, what's happening with bonds, right? We don't know what's going to happen with those because those are moving based on whatever's happening in the financial markets, and the financial markets have to be one of the most unpredictable things in the world. So what's going to happen with interest rates? I have no idea. What is the likelihood, or what do we do about it, particularly if we're in the process of getting a house? If you have a house, the most sane thing to do, just lock the interest rate when you get it, right? I mean, literally you're gambling if you're not doing that. And we just don't know what's going to happen. Now, there's plenty of things that we can do. I'm always paying attention to what news is coming that might move the market and some things like that. And we might make decisions to lock in front of that or wait until after it. But we're kind of guessing. So that's the first one. Interest rates, geez, like who the heck knows? And then the other one is now even a decent time to buy? Like when should I be buying? And everyone has an opinion about this. There's the people right now that are, oh my gosh, this housing market's going to crash. There's no other way. And then there's plenty of people that are saying it's going to run. I will tell you, when I even just look at the last 4 years, we went so early 2020, COVID hits. I mean, it seemed really obvious to me that that was going to be a time when we'd see housing prices come down. It felt like it was just going to be hysteria. Of course, that didn't pan out. Shoot, we saw some of the biggest year-over-year increases for a couple of years. And then we finally clear the slate and kind of get through COVID. And then all of a sudden inflation hits and interest rates go from, 2 to 3% to 6, 7, 8%. And then all of a sudden, of course, that's going to crash the market. Well, there was a period where housing prices came down a couple of years back, but now we're back at all-time highs again. And earlier this week, we just had housing data that came out and showed that our month-over-month increase was over 1%. So, again, sometimes it's just completely counterintuitive. You just can't make sense of it. But and the real answer here, just like interest rates, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I have my opinions. I think that unless we start seeing a whole glut of inventory coming through, I don't see how prices are going to fall. Now, if rates go up, and that's another thing to think about. Everyone's talking about when are rates going to come down? When are they going to come down? When are they come down? What if they go up? Or what if they stay high for a longer time? None of us knows what's going to happen here, right? So how do I answer these things? So first, on the rate, look, rates are going to fluctuate. Don't let your decision on getting into a house rely on the rate. The obvious caveat here is, look, if you just can't get into the house that you want because of where rates are right now, either adjust the house that you want or wait for rates, but you just don't know what you're waiting for at that point. And then as far as buying the house, like, look, you cannot time the market. There's no way to know. I mean, again, we've seen 4 straight years of year-over-year increases at a time where, if you asked me, I would have said it was for sure we're going to see a drop in prices. So, and I'm an expert. So there you go, right? So when should you buy? You should buy when the time feels right, when you've saved the money, when you can afford it, when you've got stability in your income. That's the time to buy a house. When should you lock a rate? You should lock a rate once you get a house and you know your close date, and you pull the trigger and you lock the rate, right? I know the impact of these. I understand that everybody's like, man, I want the best rate possible. It's hilarious. I say this all the time. I mean, when we were giving out 2 3/4 rates, people were pissed at me because I couldn't get them 2.5. It's just how we're wired as human beings. So I just wanted to throw those two things out there. Isn't it crazy that the two biggest questions that I get on a daily basis, I don't have solid objective answers to that are very definitive, but they are what they are. And I guess that just leads me to, look, how real estate purchases are about timing. And when the timing is right for you, that's when you do it. And that's all I got for today. If you need help trying to figure out if timing is right for you, I'd love to have a chat with you. And Matt Smith, I appreciate you listening to this, bud. Thank you so much. And thanks, guys. I'll see y'all next week.